You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality art, interviews, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Dini Mussolini and co-hosted by Banditi. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at least 1 hour after each show at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. We welcome all. Enjoy the show.
Eclectic. After all said and done, I had people in clubs stepping. Jails never built to hold me in, but drugs almost did to hold me in. And all the hot water I was scolding in was never enough to get my cards pulled in. And in the end, it was the same since the beginning. There was one that I wanted to make my girlfriend, my number one in the end zone, like Terry found Lynn Swan, like Pal Dishes to Kobe, like Orphans and Herman to home run. A special someone just like you, just like Mike. I wanted to be just like you. I look at your sweet smile, I wanna do right by you. And someday I wanna make a wife out of you, but one day I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and loving you down, I see it so clear. One day you get the picture. One day I'm trying to give you a shot. One day I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. I'm thinking your face should be my next tattoo. That's why I'm hitting you up and getting back at you. You got eyes like Picasso, your presence colossal. I wanna go under the covers like Donnie Brasco. I'm a good fellow like Anton Morello. Love you like Luciano, heart beating like Marciano. I just like watching your beautiful lips talking. Once the two of us start in, I swear there's no stopping. Got your kisses on bucket list, these wishes delicious. These other suckers fictitious, the true intentions are vicious. I wouldn't call me the richest, wouldn't say I'm the biggest, even though I'm the sickest. And see this mic is relinquished. I think it's time for your missus. You thought it's missed cause you missed it. Didn't know I closed my eyes on a star, already wished it. Just like new wave hit the 80s, it's driving me crazy. I want you to be my lady. I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and rubbing you down, see it so clear. One day you get the picture. I'm trying to give you a shot. One day I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. Somebody pinch me, she got Mona Lisa smiles like a Da Vinci. Features so pristine, the ground is holy as Sistine. She gets my eyes misty, murder she wrote on all my exes like her name's Agatha Christie. She makes everything magic to worthy assist me. She got dudes in denial like Joe Buttafuoco, and she leaves them like Albuquerque trying to figure out who turned on Tuco. Now you know she ain't tripping. She looks into my eyes and she knows my kind. She just sips that drink and stays by my side. She's like her name's Barrett, she's Bonnie and I'm Clyde. Just the two of us standing here side by side. She's so fine. She got everyone like, oh Lord, why can't I have me a shorty just like that guy? Yeah, it's about that time to get serious about you. Reverse the big blue eyes. I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and rubbing you down, see it so clear. One day you get the picture. I'm trying to give you a shot. I'ma be your man and you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be your man and you
Oh, yeah, one time for my people out there that are indigo, star cedar, crystalline, and 2 times for my people that are vegans. We are up, folks, to over 17,000 plus listeners per episode and over 865,000 downloads worldwide. And we've been at it for 3 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who have been rocking with me on this journey, and we are still growing, baby. It is all because of you guys, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, art, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you that opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on the show, from Grammy award-winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, technology geniuses, from authors to professors and aliens. Or people think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or what walk of life that you come from. Come on the show and talk to us. So check it out to book an interview or just to share a real cool story. Email me at theRadio@onlyonemediagroup.com. I am passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people that should hear it. Let's create something incredible. And with that, hello out there, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Vigilantes Radio. Once again, I thank you for always tuning in and being a part of this audience family. If you like information on how to call in, ask questions, or speak to the guests, and a lot of times we run out of time, so we don't really have time to take calls. But nevertheless, if you're in the chat room, you can shoot me a message, okay? Or you can dial in by calling 701-801-9813, or hop in the mix directly from my website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com, and scroll over to the Vigilantes Radio tab, and there is a button. I just want you to slap that button. It says Go Live, and you'll be right here in the mix with all of us. And as always, my friends, all the episodes are available for free download. Usually it's at least 1 hour after the show, but if we have to make edits, maybe 1 or 2 days, okay? And you can grab it from our server over at Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, over at iTunes, YouTube, and if you have the app called Podcast Addict, we are there also. So, yeah, you can carry us around in your pocket. Or, of course, we have a lot of fans over at the website. You can grab it from our website, which, again, is onlyonemediagroup.com, and that goes for every single episode that I ever aired. Tonight's episode is the Monster Mash interview, and I am your host, Denny Mussolini. Okay, moving right along through the announcements. Not really much to talk about. Let's see, March the 2nd through the 6th. Yeah, I'll be out in Hollywood, Burbank to be exact. Yeah, we have a 2-hour concert that we're throwing, and all of you guys are invited, of course. You can purchase tickets over at songkick.com. We will also be giving away some tickets because we want to see your beautiful faces. And if you're out there, I would love to meet you and greet you. So, yeah, check it out. Stay tuned to the website and my Facebook for all of those. If you're on Snapchat, I give away weekly giveaways to you guys to keep you engaged with us, and I definitely appreciate you guys for that. Other than that, I think that is about it. Yeah, we have a few more dates to add to the calendar, but since they're in negotiations, we really don't like to talk about them until they are inked in stone, right? Right. Okay, and as you guys know, I am Coach Danny, what they call me. They call me a music industry insider, but I'm more like the back door to the industry, okay? So, and if you're brand new, just listening, I always give a little background, just a little bit, because it's really not about me, right? So I started out a long time ago, signed a record deal fresh out of high school, tour, rich, poor, homeless, done it all, did it all, okay? Then I went over to Russell Simmons, did an intern with him for a year, and then I became his junior road manager for about 2 years for Fat Farm, Def Jam, blah, 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 blah. And then came home and opened up my own management firm, and I managed all kind of artists from Grammy winners to local to international, you name it. Okay, so I go by Coach Deanie, and for the new year, I no longer charge $25 an hour just to talk. That's a program that we just feel like we're way past now. So we do offer consultation, and there's a widget right on the website. You can just, it pops up and say, hey, let's chat, or add me to your calendar. You can go ahead and book me from there. And for, like I said, free consultation. And we'll talk about your career, where you're going, where you want to be, where you headed, and where you see yourself, because it all starts in the mind, right? Yes, indeed. So last time on the podcast, we talked about why BMI ASCAP is not enough for you in publishing. And we wrapped that up, I think, 2 nights ago on our podcast. And I do have a Coach Deanie tip, but I'm not going to give it tonight. Instead, I'm going to give you guys a word of encouragement, as I normally do every so often. I just want to tell you guys, you are made for giving. What, Deanie? What are you talking about? Yeah, you are made for giving. That's the universal law. So you've made great progress, but it is not enough, because you can do more. Life is about giving, and that's something you can do whatever your situation may be. As much as you've done, as much as you've given, you always have more to give. Indeed, it is giving to life that sustains you. Giving, doing, making a difference benefits your world and benefits you. The purpose of achievement is not to sit idly on top of it, smug and self-satisfied. No. Instead, build on that achievement, expand it to have a positive impact on more lives. There's always more to be done, more substance you can offer to life. So take every opportunity to let unique, meaningful purpose flow through you. Energize every soul that you come in contact. And even on this internet plane, there's so many souls that we can touch, right? So life is made for giving, and it is made good by giving. So keep on giving, keep on going. All the goodness you give is also your own. So don't forget that. Okay, so we have about gee whiz, we have about 17.5 thousand on right now. Appreciate you guys for listening. So let's get into the real reason why you guys are here, right? Not for old Deanie Mussolini. You're here for Monster Mash, right? All right. So come on, guys, and check out this latest interview that we took on tonight. We are extremely happy to say that we have the Honorable Mark Mash, or Mark E., of the straight edge punk rapper music scene. After taking an extended break, like 20 years, due to that thing called life, and maybe we'll touch on that in this interview, the skilled MC is back, reformed, and stronger than ever before in the reincarnation of Monster Mash. And he's working with Katy Perry's people and about to tour with the Dog Pound, you know, Snoop Dogg's crew, right? You got to know about that, okay? He has experienced the highs, the lows of success and support within the music industry. Now staying strong and independent, this guy is fighting his way back into the game with words, yo. It's always an excellent experience to talk to artists clearly inspired by what they create. Lots of love for the skill and heart behind the music of Monster Mash. So come on, hooligans, take a little chill pill, sit back, and check out what Monster Mash has to say about his music and what he's all about this time around after so much time away. Did things change? Did they stay the same? Gee, Willikers, Batman will have to tune in. Precisely my thoughts, Robin. I've come to that conclusion. Yeah, my voice impersonation sucks. Don't worry about it. It's cool, right? Yeah. Okay, let's find out what we are getting ourselves into and check out our brand new lyric. Oh, you can check out his brand new lyric video for his single One Day You, which we played at the beginning of the show. We usually play the music at the end, and we'll play it again because I know a lot of you guys are late. And that's okay, though. You tuning in, right? So this single, it features Blair Calloway, or Hirsch, and it's directly from Monster Mash. So, without any further ado, let's welcome Monster Mash onto our show. Welcome, dude.
Hey, Teeny, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing
It's
great,
so good
man.
to be here, man. It's great to listen to you, man. I love it. This is
I appreciate that.
Positive stuff, man. This is beautiful.
Yes, man. We got to stay positive, man. And I'm sure you know this, man. I can only imagine your background story and all of the negativity, you know, that comes with just living life, and how sometimes you got to, you know, shy away from that just to, for me speaking, to stay afloat. You know, I got to keep pumping these positive vibes into me so that I also may be able to give out positive vibes instead of a negative vibe. You feel me?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, my guy.
That's one of the missions in life, I think. You know, we go through all the things we go through, and it seems insurmountable and impossible to come out of it. And then somehow, you know, even positivity seems like something that just doesn't make sense, you know. But it's powerful,
yes,
really powerful, very powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. So thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us here tonight in this interview. I was really looking forward to what you might have to say, and I've only just started. Forgive my ramblings at time, but for what I've learned, read, and researched, words and the messages are pretty important to the music of Monster Mash. But I suppose just because I've been doing my homework doesn't mean the world is completely familiar with the full story. So from your own perspective, what is the music all about?
Oh man, the music that we have now, it's the message is everything. The lyrics are so much more than just you know, songs to make people dance. Even though we'll always be true to making people dance, making people bob their head, making people get excited, reflect on life, whatever the mood dictates. But the lyrics are so important because the message has become so important to what we're doing. I've always been a lyricist, but over the last 20 years, I've encountered things in life that have been so just insane that at times they just don't seem real. The stuff that I watched on TV and thought, oh, this is entertainment, was actually happening in my life, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, damn, you know, like this is real. This is happening right before my eyes. And as I, you know, began to feel the pressures of life, I began to be turned to different forms and modalities of spiritual teachings through religious leaders, through Michael Bernard Beckwith and the Universal Laws of Attraction, to just various teachers who, you know, helped me to conceptualize not only what I was looking at or viewing, but how to actually take it on and overcome it, to summarize it in ways that can help other people hopefully come out of it. And drugs and alcohol were a big part of my problem, and I battled for 20 years with all kinds of different drugs, and, you know, I experienced the highs on drugs, and I experienced the lows on drugs, and like yourself, you know, had a couple of stints of homelessness, and, you know, really had to, you know, face life on a kind of one on, you know, me against the world kind of situation, and family turning on me, and, you know, friends turning on me, and realizing that, you know, the drugs were taking me down to a place that, you know, was going to follow me not only in this world, but I believe in the next world to follow. I mean, I was really in a bad situation, and, you know, the lyrics kind of became my story about how I came out of it, and, you know, how I faced it, and how I was able to, outthink it and overcome it, and find the power through, you know, knowledge and perspective and spiritual awareness and the help of spiritual powers and key people that came along, sometimes just a few, but just enough, you know, to come and help me to get out of the mire and pick myself up. You know, it's an amazing journey that we all face, and you know, the things that even the tragedies, we can find beautiful things in them. You know, if we're able to help other people by conceptualizing them instead of complaining about them.
I can agree with that. And you're a little deeper than I thought. We might have to get you on our other show called Skeptics, where we just talk about beliefs and energy. Yeah,
absolutely.
Power now.
It's important.
You know.
It's so important.
So important. Law of attraction, all that. So give us a little history and some insight on what's important to you in making the music. What makes it definitely your style and sound and puts your own signature stamp on it?
I would say that I've always been a really versatile artist. One of the things I've always tried to do is find myself in every genre or style of music that I listen to, whether it's jazz or it's hip-hop or it's rock or it's punk or heavy metal or, you know, whatever it is. It touches a key of you know, someplace I went in life, and, you know, I might hear it from one perspective, another person might hear it from another. But I think one of the things that really characterizes my music is the versatility, but the versatility isn't just a utility. It's more of my experiences of life have come from so many perspectives that I really, the first two songs that we released were kind of, about my coming out of drug addiction, and they were a little bit lighter, and, you know, the music was a little bit more bright and sunny. And then on the One Day track, you know, it was a little bit more, heartfelt with the guitars, a little bit darker tones, a little bit more of the mainstream R&B hip-hop sound that I grew up on. But then the EP that we're working on now is going to be an unplugged hip-hop sound, where we're going to have, acoustic guitars and an acoustic bass with a drummer, world-famous percussionist who worked with Sheila E. back in the day, and I was on the Magic Johnson late night show and stuff like that. And we're going to have a DJ cutting on vinyl. You know, I really want to go back to that vinyl, you know, cutting and scratching like old school when we used to sit and watch, you know, DJ Train and Jazzy Jeff and, you know, guys like that, DJ Pooh, cutting and scratching. I love the vinyl. And I want to kind of take a journey, you know, with that acoustic sound to kind of lighten up, my rap approach a little bit, just to show people something I hear in my head and in my soul that's almost hip-hop meets Jack Johnson a little bit, which is really cool. I love it. And we're going to drop a lot of big 808 kick drums on there because we really want to get people putting those 12-inch speakers in their cars and listening to it so they can rumble their chests a little bit, take us back to the old school sound.
All right. I know.
But definitely 808 kick drums are what we have in store for the next couple of releases. Lots of them.
That got to be dope. That has to be dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm talking Miami, DJ Magic Mike type bass drums, man. We're digging into the archives.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be slapping for real.
Yeah.
I know you touched on this.
Some things die hard.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you touched on this in the beginning about the gigantic gap in music, or, you know, it may... Yeah. You know, I don't know. A gap probably wasn't there, but I really don't need to explain it to you. You already know where I'm going with this, I'm sure. But was it anything other than simply life taking you in different directions or getting in the way of the music? I know you talked about the 20-year drug addiction, but like what? I don't really want to, you know, I don't mean to get personal with you, but was there anything that triggered that and made you go in a direction and forget your music? I think you've been rocking it for a while, man.
Yeah. Well, I started in 1984 when I was about 10 years old, and to do the math on that, I don't like the math, but I guess it is what it is. When I was about 17, I was doing really a lot of things, and, you know, my dad died. And I was really close to my dad, and, you know, we were really close, and it really spun me around, and it made me look at things a little bit different. And I actually went into church, and I got saved, and I got, filled with the Holy Spirit, and I started, studying the Bible and stuff. And I went to the ministry for about 4 years, and I preached and, had a youth ministry, and we had like about 800 or 1,000 kids that we'd pile into a gymnasium. And I was always a hyper guy. So, I was like sugar, to teenagers, and, we were going, do crazy concerts and stuff like that. And, my old nature somehow, eventually snuck back into my life, and I, slid off the grid and became the guy that, behind the rap music that was always there. And I started partying and drinking and, doing what we do, and, got into, cocaine and, smoking a lot of weed and methamphetamines, and did that for a long time. And, music was always central in my life, and I'd always kind of make little comebacks here and comebacks there, and I'd do something big, and then I'd slide off the chart again. And I, at one point, we got signed, and I bought a coffee shop with the money, and we, we had a girl in the group, and she ended up killing somebody with her car, and the lady flew through the front windshield and freaked her out, and she couldn't sing anymore. And the other kid, his dad wanted him to go off to college, and I was left with tracks that we couldn't release, and I packed my car up, closed the coffee shop, and I moved back to L.A., and I kind of had this idea that I was going to just, wing it, and I loaded my car up and this crazy girl, and we went to L.A. and slept on the beach, and, I went pounding the pavement looking for an entertainment company so I could get signed again. And my idea was that I would get into a record label, and I would shop my music to all the people that worked there, and there was no jobs available, so the only thing that opened up to me was a place called Saban Entertainment where they make the Power Rangers. And I slept in their parking lot, and I got a job as a security guard. And every day I went up and down the floors of the building, and I met all the vice presidents and the people that draw the cartoons and all that kind of stuff. And what I found out is that there was no music there really, and so I started learning about television. And so I got into television, and, one thing led to another. I moved to Santa Barbara, California, and I went reluctantly, ended up going back to school and getting my GED and going to City College. And I started working for the LA Dodgers as a camera guy and an editor. And for the next about 9 years or 10 years, I moved through ABC News and then started producing little small television shows and stuff like that. And, kind of did all right, but drugs and alcohol was always kind of sabotaging me. Every time I would do something big, I'd end up, losing my job or, stopping what I was doing somehow related to drugs and alcohol. And, that just kind of was the cycle until about 2 years ago. And, I was really at the very bottom, addicted to methamphetamines and, just really shooting myself out. And I was writing music nonstop and doing all this web stuff on the internet because I was up all the time. And I was mixing music and stuff because I had nothing but time on my hands. But I came to a place where I was really literally probably a couple of weeks from probably losing my marbles or my life, and, I went to jail several times. And, coming out of it, I realized, one day when I was praying that I really had to make a big change, and even AA wasn't going to cut it, and, I sat down and I did some real reflecting, and I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? I can't go and whine about my problems because I'm the one who made them, and I can't complain about life not treating me right because I kind of, wedged myself into a corner here with all the damage that I caused. And I realized, that if I was going to have any shot with my music, I really had to take it serious. And, I meditated until I visualized something that some kids had introduced me to back in the 90s, and it was a straight edge movement, and they were punkers, and I didn't know anything about it, and they explained it to me, and I saw myself with a black X on my hand, and I thought about it, and I thought about those guys and what they told me about it, and I said, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I'm going straight edge. I don't know that much about it. I need to get on the internet. I need to research it, but I know this is what I need to do because, I feel like God has given me a vision right now. The universe has given me a vision, and it was really kind of a feeling that was coming over me where, it wasn't just a vision. It was kind of like God was telling me he was fed up with me. That was all I knew, is that I could sense this feeling like this is it, you know. There's not going to be any more chances. You know, you either take this thing by the horns and move with it, or else, you know, this is it. And so that's what I did. I just, you know, declared it, owned it over my life. I ordered a tattoo gun in the mail, and I got it. I didn't even know how to use it, and I got the thing out of the box about 4 days later from Amazon, and I loaded it with ink, and I started tattooing the X's on my hand, and it was pretty rough because I really should have slowed down and put Vaseline on my arm and stuff, which, you know, I later did on the next tattoo. But that's it. The rest is history. I've been sober ever since. I haven't touched anything, and it's been great. It's been a beautiful, amazing, powerful journey. And, I mean, I started watching The Secret again and, you know, going over some of the things I learned from Michael Bernard Beckwith's teachings mixed with the Christian teachings I learned from the Bible, and some of the, you know, some of the other Buddhist, you know, principles and stuff. And I started thinking about it, and I started really thinking about what I want out of life. And I, you know, wrote Santa Barbara on my wall along with some other things. And 6 months later, I was back in Santa Barbara. Didn't have a dime to my name coming out of drugs, so that was a faith walk, you know, of its own. You know, but amazingly, things happen, you know, when you get sober, and, you know, and it's been a great journey. It's been great. Now I just feel like I really want to, you know, share that message with other people that are struggling through it, but also the teenagers who haven't decided what they want to do with themselves, and kind of tell them, look, you know, hey, been there, done that, I've been down this road, and, you know, you might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because, you know, what's happening now isn't just smoking weed. It's the meth thing is huge. You know, it's just everywhere. I mean, all over the country in the last 3 or 4 years, and, you know, and all over the country, it's just a really horrible epidemic, you know, and I hate to see it happen because so many good people in such a short time just really go down a bad path, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But that, you have an incredible story, man. I mean, faith like you just talked about. You having visions of where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be doing, and you acted on it. That's what truly inspires me, hearing stories like that. Because a lot of times people are afraid to follow what they feel in their gut is the right thing to do. And sometimes, like you say, you got to take that thing by the horns and go for it.
Absolutely. And, I agree.
Yes, sir. And of course, I suppose we should really follow that question up with asking about what brought you back to both the music and to working with other artists, because we talked about what brought you back to music. But what about working with other artists and pursuing a dream as Monster Mash?
Yeah, that was a little rougher, because at first I had to really prove myself. Because a lot of, you know, more credible artists were like, man, you know, we can see where you're at right now, and we're not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I mean, that was pretty messed up, you know. I knew it, you know. I knew I had a long journey ahead of me, and that I, you know, was going to have to really pull my shit together. I don't know if we can cuss on there, but
you're
you know,
good.
I knew. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. You know, and I knew that it was. You know, I couldn't expect the whole world right away. You know, I had to prove myself, and, you know, and so I just, you know, took it one day at a time, and just kind of, you know, made moves every day. You know, just made sure that every day I did something, even if it was little, you know, towards my goal. And then those things got more and more and more. But a lot of it was the laws of attraction. Really, I mean, literally, I put pictures of the kind of artists or the things I wanted to do on the wall, and I just meditated on it and then just kept moving. And amazingly, people were just drawn. You know, somebody would call me or find me on Facebook, or I would just have these chance meetings, you know, as time was going on. And it was almost, you know, a lot of times it was just almost freakish. You know, it was, you know, there was a lot of new numbers that were matching up, and, you know, strange things like I put a guitar on my wall, and there was something in one of Michael's teachings where he said to put this on the wall that attract the things that you actually want. So I got this red guitar, and I put it on the wall with this little guitar hanger, and I don't play guitar. I just wanted to draw that to me. and the live instrumentations of our project. And I was in a studio in Valencia 2 days ago, and I'm in this beautiful, gorgeous, giant house with this great artist who's working with all these people, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it feels surreal, you know, like it's not real. She's playing this music, and you know, that she's working on for me, and I'm looking at it and listening to it, and I look up and I see this guitar on the wall, and it's the same damn guitar that I have on my wall. I mean, the same model, the same color, hanging on the same hook that's never been played, and mine's never been played, and I thought, holy shit, what the hell is going on here? I mean, it's just things like that have been happening, and it's like, wow. You know, the artists that I was saying that I admired, all of a sudden the people that work with those artists were just blink, 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 you know, and I'm like going, holy crap, what the hell? You know, it's not something I planned. I was, you know, just saying, oh yeah, I like this artist, like that artist, you know, like whatever. Next thing you know it, I'm like talking to the people that work with them or the people that produce them, or, you know, it's just, it's been a very interesting, you know, a spiritual, you know, walk. But it's just relentless work though. I mean, it's, you know, I think that, you know, it's just been, somebody told me once that luck is just opportunity meeting, you know, or preparation meeting opportunity. And it seems like it's a lot of that, you know, just working hard. You know, we work about 15, 16, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't know what a weekend is right now. The only weekend party we get is when we get to perform on a Saturday night, or, you know, we literally just don't have time for anything, you know. You know, going to school also full time, doing 17 units and trying to catch up on a degree, and, you know, and we'll be doing our touring on the weekends, and yeah, it's just it's been a trip. It's been a real trip.
Definitely. Is there something different to be said this time around, or something that you can fully express now that you couldn't back in the day?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a seriousness, you know, to what I'm doing now that, you know, when I was younger, I took a lot of things for granted because there was just so many things that just came so easily, you know, so I just kind of thought everything was just, you know, supposed to work, you know, it was supposed to be this way or that way. But now I you know, the last 2 years, you know, a year and a half of it were really just grinding through the mud. And, you know, now that it's starting to look a lot brighter and things are starting to happen, I think there's a lot more gratitude, but also a lot more of that healthy fear of realizing, look, you know, your last chance is happening here, and, you know, don't mess it up. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't go here. Don't go there. You know, go to bed. Don't be hanging around late at night. Just, you know, go to bed because tomorrow's a big day. You know, there's a lot of things I'm bypassing now that I didn't bypass when I was younger, because I realized that there's people counting on the project, people that have invested time and energy, and when I mess up, it messes everybody up. You know, it's not just messing myself up. When I was younger, I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants, and I never really took into account people's investment and their time and their money and their energy, and it was just all a party. And it was good because I was young enough to do it that way. But there was a lot of people that were disappointed because, you know, I kind of flew off the tracks, and, you know, they were expecting, you know, big things, and the payoff, you know, didn't happen for them that should have. And so I think now I'm just looking at it a lot more, you know, as a whole, you know, a product that's you know, the sum of all of its parts. And I'm beginning to dissect those parts a lot more and realize, hey, this guy has this involved, and that guy has that invested, and this guy over here is, you know, putting this into it. And, you know, I'm starting to look a lot deeper into those things that they're contributing and going, man, you know what? That guy, you know, he's got a lot going on, and he's doing this for me. And this person over here, man, you know, their wife is all over him because they you know, his wife wants him to focus on this instead of helping me with that. Or, you know, her husband is pissed off because they're, you know, talking to her on the phone late at night. Or, you know, there's just a lot of stuff like that I think about now. And I realize that, you know, I got to get down to business. And, you know, this is a business. And, you know, people put, you know, their money is precious, you know, and I don't want them to lose their money, and I don't want them to lose their time, and I don't want them to tell somebody that they're working on something that's, you know, moving forward, only to have it fall apart so that they have to, you know, face the ridicule of family or friends that say, oh, you know, it's just another one of those projects that, you know, you got involved in and, you know, it didn't work out. You know, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And obviously, as an MC, you have to keep it tight. And you do. Anyone can hear that in the precision and the confident approach. But how do you go about keeping the skills sharp? You ever get in the ring with anybody just for fun, for battle rap?
Oh, yeah. I haven't for a little while, but this Sunday we're going to be on Lankershim Boulevard. There's a show put on by Wiggin' Out Radio that's working with the Dog Pound, and Godmother Funk will be there. About 25 MCs will be there, and there'll be some DJs spinning, and it'll go from about 9 until 1, and we'll be freestyling there and doing some battling, and there'll be a contest, and the winner, there'll be a king and a queen, so there'll be a winner of the guys MC battles and a winner of the females, and we like doing that kind of stuff. I love to freestyle, and I've been freestyling for a long time, and I love it. It's a lot of fun. Win or lose, it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's good.
Definitely.
I gotta have a lot of music playing though. They gotta play it loud, and there's gotta be a crowd.
Oh yeah. So who is the beat supplier for your rhymes?
There's a lot of different people that work on our music, and I'm always just combing the internet for people that are making beats and people that are producing stuff. On the One Day You track, that beat was made by DJ Nadie in New York City. He's a fabulous producer, and right now he's so busy. I just hit him up about 2 or 3 weeks ago to try to make a personal track for me, and he said no go. He's got like a year or year and a half of stuff that's like backed up, and it's crazy. I mean, he's really good. Wow. I mean, he's just on another level, and I love his stuff. I love his sound. So I'll wait patiently to try to get him to make me something personal. And then there's some other people. I'm working with Elliot Lanham here in Santa Barbara, who works with Katy Perry, and he's more known right now as the engineer on the Prism album and stuff like that. But he's a fantastic producer, and he'll be dropping some things for us. And then we've got so I've got a guy from Germany that's been bugging me to make some beats, and so we'll see what they can come up with. And I had a girl that came all the way from Germany that was really soliciting the German hip-hop scene, and she was playing that stuff for me like 2 or 3 days straight, and had some interesting sounds, so see what he can come up with. And I'm always looking at other DJs and remixing artists and stuff like that, because I just love listening to beats, and I'll listen to them all night. I mean, I'll sit there for 12 straight hours and just listen to beats by anybody I can find on either YouTube or SoundClick or wherever I can, look on the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah, so when you're working with producers, do you have any input on what comes through the output, or do you just leave it up to the producer's creativity?
It always works a little bit different for our projects. Like for Nadie, that was a track that he produced that I liked, so I bought the rights to it. And then some of the tracks, somebody will show me something and they'll be like, look, I'm working on this, and I'll be like, oh man, let's try to do something with that. Other times, like I've got about 400 songs that I've got the pieces laid out, and I've got the hooks to the songs all written out, and I've got the sounds recorded on either on my phone or on softwares and stuff like that, and they're all saved on hard drives, and they're waiting to be produced. And the EP is going to be my own songs that are going to be done to a live band. So we'll have guitar players and bass players, and we'll be making the beats on a click. So first we'll drop a click, and then I'll show them the song we need in a rehearsal space. I'll show them how the guitar parts go, how the bass parts go. I'll spend a little time with each of the instrument players and show them how each piece is going to go, and then I'll bring them together. We'll rehearse it. Then we'll go in the studio, lay it on a click track, and then after it's laid, I'll put my lyrics, and then we'll go into the click track and we'll start adding the bass drums the way I want them. As I have the sound in my head, so it's a much more personal, from the ground up. It's just my own sound, but it always works different. Sometimes somebody will be like, hey, we got this track and it's for a project and we need to rap this about this, or we need a song that's about that. And then, you're writing to their music, and other times, you're in the studio with somebody that's like, all right, what are we doing now? you know, and then you kind of hum something. Hey, I want a bass line like this, or I want to, you know, something like that. You know, it's always different. You know, it's always different. I wrote 3 songs for Carrie Underwood, her writers, back in June, and you know, it was kind of they were having writer's block, and I was on a Skype call with one of her writers. It's a friend, and you know, they were in Nashville, and she said, yeah, we're writing this and that, and you know, hey, you think you can write something? I said, sure, you know, it's country western, but I can write something to it. And in about 15 minutes, I wrote her 3 songs, and you know, it's always different, you know, and just always available for the opportunities when they come, you know.
And when it comes to the rhymes themselves, how do you know it's fully nailed perfectly and finished when you're in the writing process?
I think it depends on which song it is. But with some songs, it's like putting little building blocks together, and it's just, you know, one line at a time, putting the building blocks and then going back and refining them and feeling like my story has reached its climax and it's just ended. Other times I'll get in like GarageBand or, you know, one of the softwares, and I'll lay an instrumental on, and I'll just I'll go in and I'll, like back in the day when we used to do click tracks, I'll just click myself in on a line and I'll freestyle the first line of the rhyme, and then I'll go back and I'll play it back and I'll record on track 2. I'll just lay another freestyle of track 2, and then I'll go back and I'll listen to the first 2 lines, and then I'll think about it, and then I'll hit record again on track 3, and I'll record the 3rd line, you know, and then I'll do that all the way down the song. And then I'll go back and listen to it, and if there's one line that doesn't seem like it sounds right once the song is done, I'll just go back and click track that one track, and I'll replace that one line, you know, and then I'll just get to, you know, to where, you know, I'm like, yeah, this is the joint right here. This is what I want to do, and then I'll go into the big studio and I'll say, look, okay, this is what I want to do. I've got the song worked out the way I want it, and then I'll send it to them about a week ahead of time, so that way they get a chance to at least listen to it once, so they kind of know where I'm going with it, you know, and then I'll send them the, you know, the instrumental, or, you know, I'll tell them, okay, this is the instrumental we'll be building, and this is how the song is going to go on top of it, and then we'll just go in and hammer it out, you know. And, you know, when we go into the studio now, it's just all business. You know, I don't bring anybody in the studio unless they're part of the project. You know, there's just a 0 tolerance rule, you know, in our you know, what we're doing. You know, we get in there, and you know, only the people that are on the track are there at the time that they're supposed to be there. You know, we work a real tight schedule, and we get into the studio and we hammer hard. You know, nobody in the studio drinks or smokes or anything. We just the 2 songs we just released, we literally recorded the lyrics in like 1 hour from start to finish. You know, each track was its own sentence or own line, and you know, and we just hammered it really fast and really hard. You know, we just try to keep our fun life separate now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and speaking of that, you have been super busy since your return. As you say, you guys don't mess around in the studio. One Day You, the new single released in December of 2016, do you have a new album on the way that you want to tell us about?
Right now we have the EP in the works, and we have the album cover for the new album. It's called Born Again. It was a fantastic cover, man. We got a hold of a graphic designer that did something real simple and really straight line. It's sick. We haven't figured out exactly what the album's going to sound like yet. We're still compiling and working with different people, but it's going to be something. You know, I think it's going to be you know, it's going to be a nice compilation of sounds and feels, and you know, it's going to, I think the message is going to be really a strong message, but it's also going to be very mainstream. So it's going to be, you know, we're aiming to try to get stuff on the radio. We just started playing on college radio across the country, and, you know, we sent out stuff to about 3,000 stations and some other things. And we're really trying to make a a sound that's mainstream, but at the same time really sticks true to our drug-free message. A lot of times I've experienced a lot of times when people do a drug-free message, they almost forget that they're making good music or mainstream music, and so that's one of the things that we talk about a lot is how we're going to approach this so that I can still have a very strong message in regards to the drug-free message, but at the same time make music that really is legitimate radio, hard hitting, thumping, head bobbing, sounds that get people moving. So we're trying to really make a mix, but at the same time, the punk edge is going to be there too. We kind of have a vision. I have a vision of shows where we're doing hip hop, but also getting out, having a band doing acoustic guitars over bass drums and having people doing what we call mashing, which is like a mixture of hip hop and moshing. It's just insane. It's exhilarating and it's free and it makes you just go crazy, and that's what we really want to do is go nuts, and crowd surf and beat each other up.
Definitely. So, according to your pictures, but then listening to your music, you seem like a pretty fun guy. So how do you go about finding the balance between the light and the dark in the subjects you rhyme about? Like, not too serious or not too humorous. Seems like you find a solid balance between saying what you need to say without making anything that should be taken seriously become a joke. Finding that balance can't always be easy, I'm sure, and obviously different beats need a different energy. But how do the words come to life, and what's important to you lyrically speaking?
Oh man, it's really a compilation of things. I mean, there's always a part of me that wants to stay true to the old school that I was raised on. There's like a part of me that wants to kind of pay homage to all of the different decades and eras of hip hop music and pop music and the music that I've slowly been introduced to. So I try to stay true to the roots of those different genres. But at the same time, I am a crazy person. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm like bipolar and nuts, and sometimes I, go on tangents and nutty things, and we take cars and drive them into things, and we do crazy shit sometimes, and so. There's always a little bit of both kind of working side by side. And, now that I'm sober, a lot of people kind of wondered, like, what's my life like? And, I'm still crazy. And so the music really reflects that side of me. And so, but at the same time, I do like to have fun and rap about some funny shit sometimes and, drop some shit. And I do like to, diss people sometimes, because that's kind of my nature too. We grew up bagging on each other, so we bag, so we like to kind of throw that stuff in there too. But at the same time, I don't want to be a clown, you know what I mean? I don't want to be out there, being completely ridiculous or, saying things that are just, not well thought out or, making fun of something that maybe is, not necessarily, like to make fun of. But I have raised some eyebrows because I have, kind of bagged on some people that, some people are kind of like, are you sure you want to bag on that person or whatever? And so maybe I do open my mouth too much sometimes too.
Definitely. I definitely know where you're coming from with that. I have a tendency of wanting to bring up subjects about, different artists, I guess you can say. And I have to like, no, I can't be in that kind of media. Even though I want to.
Right. Yeah, it's hard sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely
sometimes
hard.
I'll hear a song and I'm just like, really? Like, what the hell is that?
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, I don't know, Yeah. Yeah, I was making fun of Ed Sheeran the other day with his new song, because Ed Sheeran's always sounds, everything he says, no matter what he says, it's like, he's just like, oh, yeah, okay, it's Ed Sheeran. But he's like talking about, I love the shape of you. And I was like, oh, man, Ed, you can get yourself in trouble with that song. The shape of her? Oh, what happens when she loses the shape, Ed?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is a balance. There's always a balance, because there's also other things that we have to be, mindful of as far as the town we represent. Representing LA. There's so many different ways to represent LA, but working for the Dodgers, and I was the editor and producer on the Jackie Robinson music exhibit for the Hall of Fame and 60th anniversary back in 2011, and other things we've worked on, civil rights things, different things, anti-drug awareness campaigns. We're about to do posters that are for at-risk teenagers that are about Monster says stay in school, Monster says don't do drugs, Monster says that meth is a real monster, stuff like that. We don't want to disseminate that. We don't want to ever sell out our real message, just for a wisecrack or a quick sugar rush, media sugar rush, because that's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
So before we leave the land of promotion, I better make sure to get those websites where everybody can check you out. Where did you want the people to go to find out more about Monster Mash and find about all the news about the upcoming releases? Hopefully we'll get a sneak peek at that EP cover art.
Oh, for sure. You can go to monstermash.net. That's MONSTAMASH.net. Everything is basically there. The links to just about anything you could possibly, find. Because the internet's like a freaking spider web now. So everything's everywhere. But you can find everything on the hub there. But also you can go to Google and type in Monster and then Mash, but replace the S with a $sign as the key. It's kind of a little hidden secret. You replace that S with a $sign, and you find the secret hidden, Google searches, and you'll find everything there. And that's kind of the second way to find everything.
Okay, cool. Do you spend a lot of time on the social media end of everything?
Yeah. I think I spend a lot more time than I want to sometimes. I feel like now we're forced to be multitaskers because no matter what we're doing, whether we're in the studio or we're 2 minutes from going on stage, we got to be on the social media, typing on like 5 different sites, and we're sending a picture to Instagram while we're sending a tweet to our tweet followers, and then sending a message to our 2 Facebook, crowd pages, and then our actual Facebook friends, somebody's sending something to some other site I probably haven't even heard of, and, I forget the name of half of them now because there's so many of them. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of time spent on social media, though. It's just, sometimes I wish that there was a way to tie them together a little bit more, because we have so many segmented followers that we have to do spreadsheets all the time to keep track of them, and the labels, when we talk to them, we were talking to Atlantic Records, and the whole I told my buddy, he's old school, and I told him, I said, man, I said, our whole conversation, they only asked us about the music for about 2 minutes, and the rest of it was all about numbers and what's your social media look like, and where are your followers located, and there's a lot of questions, and a lot of bean counting going on.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on modern day hip hop and rap? How is it doing now in comparison to where it all started?
Man, you know what? To be honest with you, when I started rapping in 1984, I had an argument with my older brother, and he was a classic rock guy, and he was adamant. He just insisted that hip-hop music was a fad and it was going away, and we argued, and I was like, telling him all the reasons why it was going to be around forever and it was going to be the biggest music ever, and he didn't understand, and I was giving him the history of all the musics that were, the reasons why, and today, being around as long as I have, man, I'm blown away, man. I'm just like, man, it's insane, because we always talked about it, but listening to the artists that are out now and the things that they're talking about, the influence that they're having, the amount of money that they're making, the power that they're garnishing, the percentage of the industry that's run by hip-hop. You talk about Jay-Z coming along in the late 90s or mid-90s, and now he's like buys his, wife, who's the number one R&B pop artist in the world, a freaking Leaning Tower of Pisa as a gift. It's like, man, but at the same time, I hear artists talking about things in ways that, I never imagined. And, beats are just, insane, and the tracking of songs. And, I listen back to like those old rappers, Grandmaster Flash and Houdini and, Curtis Blow and, all those old rappers, and I think to myself, damn, that went from that to, what we heard in the early 90s so fast, just when you think that hip-hop is, plateaued, or actually I don't think, but other people think hip-hop's plateaued, bam, a new group comes, a new generation comes and brings it. There's kids that are 7 or 8 years old that are sitting at, 10-inch keyboards in front of computers doing MIDI. And when we were kids, we didn't know what the hell MIDI was. We couldn't figure it out.
Right.
These rock, guys were using it already. It was a uphill struggle for all of the rappers in the beginning, because unless you were in New York City where everybody was doing it, even in Los Angeles, all the studios were trying to figure out what hip-hop was, and we were arguing and trying to get people that were not familiar with the music to understand what a kick drum was and how to make it, and none of them had an 808, a TR-808 in their studio, and and now it's just gone to a whole other level, though. It's crazy. It's sick, though. I love it, and I'm so glad that I'm actually able to be a part of it, because of seeing it from where it was. It almost doesn't seem real, though. I listen to some of those tracks every once in a while, and I'm like, whoa, holy shit, I remember it a different way, and now I'm hearing it again, and then I have to look at the new stuff again and take a second look and go, God dang, this is insane. But at the same time, there's something about the old school that I really admire still to this day, that I see when I look back at Big Daddy Kane and, Rakim and even the Fat Boys. It's kind of funny, some people don't know the Fat Boys. And LL Cool J, which I looked up to LL Cool J. He was like one of my heroes as a kid, because he really flipped it when he did I Need Love on the Bad album, because all of a sudden hip-hop was like, whoa, hold on, this music can actually have different tones. It can, go from being like battle rap to this and that to all of a sudden being soft tone and having like a softer edge. And, and then, Run DMC were already taking it in the rock direction. But I liked how the rappers had, they developed characters, around their stuff. It was like a persona, that whole thing. I'm the king of the world. I'm the king, and we believed it. And Rakim was talking about rap like the microphone was an object of affection, and it was a grail. It wasn't just a microphone. This is no other music was doing that. And rappers started getting their own lean and, having their own thing and, wearing their own, colors and their different, different stuff. And it was almost like watching characters as a kid, being 10 years old and watching these guys was like, Slick Rick, was like a cartoon character. He wasn't just a rapper. He was like, this is Rick, man, the eye patch and the big ass gold chains and, big old trench coat down to his, feet, wearing Gucci shoes. And, he looked like, he looked bigger than life. He was, not just a rapper, he was like a character, and I love that, and so whenever I see rappers not only hit the music hard, but also come out like Lil Wayne or, artists that actually take the look and everything to a whole different level and, kind of punch and forge a style and force people to change a style or, an image or, whatever. It's pretty exciting, to realize that we have the power to do that, and I kind of get off seeing that and hearing the new sounds and, hearing, Nelly and other people taking it into country western and, we're writing a song for a country western artist called My Big Gold Chains, and, I brought big gold chains back into my image because I'm kind of reminding people about that old school hip hop, where it all came from, like these big gold chains, not so much about flash and saying, oh, money or anything like that. It's more of just the image of it to remind people, like, this is what I looked at when I was 11 or 12 years old on my walls, and this is what forged the path of hip hop. NWA and Big Daddy Kane and those guys with the big gold chains. I love those big gold chains. I won't lie. I like seeing them. I think they're pretty fresh. Even today. It's pretty fat. We all got a little Junebug Spade in us.
Definitely. And as far as we're all concerned and you're concerned, will the music, beats, and rhymes of Monster Mash find its way to fit in the present day and age? And why is it now the perfect time for you to put out this new material?
I hope so, and I think so. There's no guarantees in life, but it certainly feels like we're riding a wave, and there's a lot of good things happening. I think we got a lot of interesting crossovers, which could be good or bad, because sometimes crossover is good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, some people from certain schools of thought think that it's risky right now to invest in anything that's not matching what everybody's been listening to. But then there's also the school of thought that, crossovers are always good because it opens and expands music in avenues that haven't been explored yet. So we're hoping that our crossovers are coming at the right time. And, I certainly think that I've matured at this point in my life to a place to where I can handle a lot more. And, I'm receptive to criticisms and, going in the studio, I approach it much more in the way that I realize that just like a professor telling me that my paper needs to be better next time, somebody can tell me, hey, you know what, that line needs to be fixed. I don't like how you're coming with that one. Can you redo that line? Stuff like that. Whereas, earlier in my career, I had a lot more of a chip on my shoulders. And so, it was a lot harder for me to handle someone telling me or criticizing what I was doing. Sometimes I get really mad. My manager would fight with me over stuff. We want you to change this look, or we want you to change that. And I'd argue with them for weeks about it. Why? I like this. It's what everybody's doing. And now I'm a lot more of a team player, and, I'm a lot more laid back, and, I'm a lot more receptive to, ideas and stuff like that. And I think when you're receptive, that's when people can really come at you and say, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this sound? What about that? And when I thought I had it all figured out, that's when somebody comes along and blows my mind with a new idea, and I like being in that position. So I hope it's going to be well received. I really hope so.
Okay. So can you say that you're sticking around this time? After nearly 20 years away, anything you can say to convince us that there's not another extended break to come in the future?
Oh yeah, no. This time is this is it right here. No, there's no more there's nowhere for me to go other than here. I mean, the world has basically. I've come to a place where there is no other place for me. I just I'm focused. I do this like 17, 18 hours a day. I really don't have much in my life that doesn't revolve around what I do. So, even relationships, they all take a back seat now. It's kind of, hey, I could fit you in for an hour here, I could fit you in for an hour there, but if you can't fit it in, kick rocks. You know what I mean? It's, before there was so many other things that were vying for my time, and now everything is on a schedule. It's just, and I've lost a lot of good friends over the last, 5 years. Over the last year, I've lost several good friends, ex-girlfriends. My girlfriend got killed in a car accident, just about 2 years ago on January 28th. And, even that didn't deter me. I realized, hey, look, what, people die, things happen, tragedies happen. At this point in my life, I can't have any excuses because there is no more excuses. It's now or never, really. And so I'll be rapping when I'm 65. I'm already reserved to that idea that when I'm old, I'm not even going to retire. I'm just going to keep doing it, and keep making music and, mentor and whatever else comes along, because I love music and that's really what I like to do, and making a change and doing other things, but music's always at the heart of it,
Yes, sir. All right, after the music break, it'll be time for our usual tradition. It is called the Hot Seat. and our fans love this part of the segment, and of course along with the actual interview. But the audience gets to hear either some vocals, poems, written work, inspirational speeches, spoken word, freestyle raps, recited lyrics, musical tributes, karaoke, jokes, stories, live instruments, and all of this comes from our special guests. You never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And tonight, yes, tonight, we'll find out if Monster Mash have what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe some hidden talents. So here we go. We'll play the song again, Monster Mash, One Day You, featuring Hirsch. We'll be right back.
Marpley. Yeah. Yo, check this out, baby. I've been thinking about you for a while. I just didn't know how to say it. So I wrote it down for you. Got my fellas here in the studio. Yo, fellas, why don't you sing that hook? It goes something like this. One day, I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day, I'ma be kissing your lips and loving you down and be so clear. One day, you get the picture. One day, I'm trying to give you a shot. One day, I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. It's true, I can't exactly remember who said it, but sitting here thinking about life has been epic. This poetic justice and memoir is eclectic. After all said and done, I had people in clubs stepping. Jails are never built to hold me in, but drugs almost did to hold me in. And all the hot water I was scolding in was never enough to get my cards pulled in. And in the end, it was the same since the beginning. There was one that I wanted to make my girlfriend, my number one in the end zone, like Terry Fountain Swan, like Pal Dishes to Kobe, like Orphans and Herman to home run. A special someone just like you, just like Mike. I wanted to be just like you. I look at your sweet smile, I wanna do right by you. And someday I wanna make a wife out of you, but one day I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and loving you down, it's so clear. One day you get the picture. One day I'm trying to give you a shot. One day I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. I'm thinking your face should be my next tattoo. That's why I'm hitting you up and getting back at you. You got eyes like Picasso, your presence colossal. I wanna go under the covers like Donnie Brasco. I'm a good fellow like Anton Morello. Love you like Luciano, heart beating like Marciano. I just like watching your beautiful lips talking. Once the two of us start in, I swear there's no stopping. Got your kisses on bucket list, these wishes delicious. These other suckers fictitious, the true intentions are vicious. I wouldn't call me the richest, wouldn't say I'm the biggest, even though I'm the sickest. And see this mic is relinquished. I think it's time for your missus. You thought it's missed cause you missed it. Didn't know I closed my eyes on a star, already wished it. Just like new wave hit the 80s, it's driving me crazy. I want you to be my lady. I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and rubbing you down, it's so clear. One day you get the picture. I'm trying to give you a shot. One day I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. Somebody pinch me, she got Mona Lisa smiles like a Da Vinci. Features so pristine, the ground as holy as Sistine. She gets my eyes misty. Murder she wrote on all my exes like her name's Agatha Christie. She makes everything magic to worthy assist me. She got dudes in denial like Joe Buttafuoco, and she leaves them like Albuquerque trying to figure out who turned on Tuco. Now you know she ain't tripping. She looks into my eyes and she knows my kind. She just sips that drink and stays by my side. She's like her name's Barrett, she's Bonnie and I'm Clyde. Just the two of us standing here side by side. She's so fine. She got everyone like, oh Lord, why can't I have me a shorty just like that guy? Yeah, it's about that time to get serious about you. Reverse the big blue eyes. I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and rubbing you down, it's so clear. One day you get the picture. I'm trying to give you a shot. I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be your man, you are gonna be my girlfriend, I swear. One day I'ma be kissing your lips and rubbing you down, it's so clear. One day you get the picture. I'm trying to give you a shot.
All right, and we are back again. That was Monster Mash, One Day You, featuring Hirsch. I love that song, man. I love it, love it, love it. So we're back. Oh man, you're welcome, man. Yeah. It is time for the hot seat. What you got, bro?
I already feel the heat. I feel the sizzle, man. What do we got?
It's on you, brother.
Oh, the hot seat's on me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. I thought someone was going to ask me to juggle or handstand or do something crazy. What do you usually do on the hot seat here? I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, sometimes our guests may do like a poem or some. They may sing or inspirational speeches. They may write something, recite some lyrics. They may be freestyle, play an instrument. Sometimes tell a joke or a story.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, let's see. What kind of a story do you want to hear?
Hey, it's on you. This show is not censored.
Okay. Let's see. It puts me in a strange position to not kind of know what I want to talk about here. Well, let's see. I guess. Well, I guess when I started rapping, let's see, I was about 8 years old, and we were getting ready for a talent show, and I was just getting familiar with rap. We were learning Lottie Dottie by Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. That was the first time we ever rapped in front of an audience. It was our first experience, and we did the talent show for a bunch of sixth graders at Gonzalez Elementary School in Cerritos, California. And about 2.5 years later, I started a record label. The NWA was right there in our neighborhood, basically, within about 3 miles or so. We were in Cerritos and Norwalk area, and I think Dre was actually living in Norwalk at the time, and down the street at Shabadoo, he was living down there doing Beat Street breaking and stuff like that. And we decided, well, why don't we start a record label? So we started putting together the information, and I called Alsha Records in Burbank, and got all the specs and stuff, and I showed up in the recording studios, and I was about in 8th grade or going into 9th grade, and they had never done hip hop music, and especially they'd never worked with a kid my age either, so they were like looking at me. I was a real fat kid. I ate a lot of candy and junk food. I was hyper. I got in trouble all the time. I was always in this principal's office, and they made my mom sign a contract so they could spank me every time I got in trouble. So every week or so I would be in there getting the paddle and whatever. I was a little fat kid though, and the ice cream man would come around, and I was like the first one up there with every dollar I had, no matter what I had in my pocket, I was spending it, But I show up in the studio, and these guys are looking at me, and they're like, "Hold on, this guy wants to do rap music, and he's only in 8th grade, and he's starting a record company." And at that time, people didn't start record companies, it wasn't something that people outside of hip hop were doing. That was really a Ruthless Records kind of groundbreaking thing at that time for Tommy Boy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so we were like, yeah, we're going to do exactly what NWA and Dre did. They were selling tapes at the swap meet and stuff like that, and we had the first copies of Boys Nothing and all the crap. And so we were like, doing this whole thing, and we go into Alsher, and the same thing. They're looking at me as a little fat white kid who's rapping, and he's like, telling us about what he wants on this record and the specs and how long it's going to be and blah, 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 blah. And so we go out across the country, and I start performing, and same thing, I go to shows and radio stations, and this little kid who's like, in 9th grade, and he's walking into these radio stations and doing these interviews, and, I got a chance to, watch hip-hop kind of building, just kind of the building blocks, coming together. And it was an interesting time, in hip hop history. Some people weren't really taking to hip hop, in different places, and so I got called names, and I saw other people get called names, and I won't recite some of the names because they're really rude and just despicable words and stuff. And but then at the same time, there was these crowds that were going nuts. They were like, "Holy shit, fucking hip hop is we didn't call it hip hop even. We just called it rap. They were like, shit, raps, rap for us. Everywhere we went, everybody wants you to rap for them. It was interesting times though. It was interesting. And what's it really. I think about what some of those old school rappers, and then some of them being broke now, and not having, having the money that some of the new rappers have, and it's almost like watching a college football player get hurt before he gets drafted. It's really sad. I've met a few rappers that, or knew people that knew some of those old school rappers, and it's really sad to hear that some of those people I looked up to are, living in, bad positions, and financially, not being able to, survive, hardly survive after being, such pivotal pieces in our history that, made this music that's making so many people so much money now. But yeah, I think about those kind of things a lot, and as an artist, I think it's good to remind a lot of the young artists out now to go back and look at those stories and read about them and listen to that music and stuff, And other than that, I can do all kinds of things right here out in the open on a bench that I'm sitting on, and you probably wouldn't see it though because you're on the radio. But I can tell you about it. I'm twerking on a bench right now, and people are walking into Ralph's. So I don't know. I don't know. As an artist, being straight edge, I believe in God. I believe in higher powers. I believe in miracles, magic, all kinds of different things. I believe in the human spirit. I believe in, prayer being the outward reaching of your soul beyond its boundaries of human, existence, flesh. I believe that, we have the ability to reach out and to touch things that are far away, and to touch things around the world. I think that everything around us is a metaphor. If we look at them closely, there's just metaphors all around us, both metaphors of repetitions of things that exist in the universe and things that we can look forward to in the life to come. I think that both beautiful and, warning signs are all around us, things to look out for. I think that, I look at people that have phantom limbs and they have arms or legs cut off, and doctors touch areas where their fingers used to be, and they flinch because they still feel the electronic charge. And I think that is basically, it's an example of how we reach beyond the body that encapsulates us in this cocoon that grows into what becomes a butterfly when we leave our bodies, and that the only restrictions we know are the flesh that we've come so accustomed to being in and a part of, but when we realize that we can reach outside of that flesh through prayer or meditation or whatever it is that we use as our vehicle to expand beyond our borders and to reach out and to touch the things around us, we begin to realize that we were before cell phones. And cell phones are just a mimic, like computers are a mimic of the brain. Cell phones are a mimic of the human condition to reach out psychically or, whatever you want to call it, and touch somebody through prayer or positive thought or visualization. We were communicating a long time ago on those same wavelengths with the same IP addresses being the frequency that we resonate at that keeps us inside of our body. Somebody told me one time about a study that they did at a university where they put fleas inside of boxes, and they were clear boxes, and each of the fleas had a different size box. One of them had one that was 2 inches high. One of them had one that was 4 inches high, 6 inches high, 12 inches high, 2 feet high. They put the fleas in the boxes, and they let them jump in the boxes for about 3 months or 4 months. And at the end of the exercise, they put them out on a tray, and they let them just do their own thing. And some of the fleas jumped 2 inches, some of them jumped 4 inches, some jumped 6 inches, some jumped like 12 inches, and some jumped like, 2 feet or whatever. And what they realized in the study is that the fleas got used to jumping as high as the box because they kept hitting their head on the top of the box. So they didn't want to hit their head, so they would start jumping a little bit less until they weren't hitting their head on the thing. And when they got used to not hitting their head on the thing, that's how high they jumped for the rest of their life, because they remembered hitting their head and they don't want to do it anymore. And so I think our body is the same way. Sometimes we get used to living inside of this flesh body, and technology can sometimes keep us from realizing our potential to reach out beyond. And I do believe we're like butterflies. When we die, we leave this cocoon, and, like butterflies, we'll either fly away or some bird will come and snatch us up while we're trying to get out of the cocoon.
Right.
I don't want to get too dark or deep or anything, but some of the metaphors and parables of life are dinosaurs, and, you look at the incisors and, the teeth on the dinosaurs, the tigers and lions that are predators, and the sharks of the ocean and different things. Those are all parables and metaphors to remind us that, in this world and the world beyond, there are things that, that are hunters and predators, and, just always beware that there are negative forces in this world that are just as powerful, sometimes even more powerful at certain times than our positive forces. But we remain the lights in this world, and we try to stay positive so that we can continuously impact things in this world and the things in the world to come, and beyond. It's such a tight and intricate system, and we live in a universe that's so big, yet so intricate, that even something as small as an amoeba is taken care of and, is regarded, and we expand, we just continuously expand, though. And it's amazing. And for those of you out there who haven't, listened to Michael Bernardo Beckwith or watched The Secret, even if you're a believer or someone who's an atheist, which I'm emphatically not an atheist, but, we certainly have listened to enough atheists to respect, their points of view. I highly, highly recommend, listening to some of those universal laws of attractions teachings and, and some of those great things that are at our disposal now. They're just amazing, really cool stuff.
Exactly. All right. Welcome to Vigilantes Radio Open Floor, my friend. That means you somehow made it to the end. And congratulations on decoding all of my rambling. I know it's not easy in your it's not easy in your
the hot seat is hot, man. When you're sitting there in this dead air, you're like, oh man, all right, let's go.
Yeah, man. And I know it's not easy, and your efforts in answering are much appreciated. Chances are, even though we've talked a whole bunch here today, that there's something you would have wanted to talk about that I didn't end up mentioning. So I want to offer you this time to say anything else at all that may comes to your mind that you may want to add.
Sure. Well, I want to, thank you, Dini, for having me on the show, because it's an amazing conversation, and, it was really amazing listening to you before we came on, and I look forward to following your more. But at the same time, I'd like to thank the people that have been listening to our music and following us, and the people who have pitched in and they've helped us along our journey, and the people who have volunteered their time to do the camera work on our music video, and the actors, the actresses, the rappers who have pitched in, the artists, the list goes on and on and on and on. And I just, can't say thank you enough to those people for giving of their time and their energies, and for the people who are working on our stuff. And, I just want to let them know how much we do appreciate them, and to the Straight Edge movement, to all of those bands that started this movement and who, the hardcore artists around the world that are, doing their thing and who have made it possible for me to find sobriety. I appreciate them and their message, and for them being so gracious and open and taking me in and accepting, what I'm doing, even though it's mainstream, a little bit different. There hasn't been any kind of roughness to this integration. The Straight Edge Society, Straight Edge Worldwide, those great sites that have showed their support to the writers, that have been gracious to recent reviewers, and also to some other actors that were in our video. Jess Brown, Sarah Anacuni, who's a really good friend. Avi Garg, who was in our music video, did an incredible job on Skid Row. We were down there in the heart of Skid Row, and he was, he was a method actor. It was just insane. I mean, you couldn't believe that he wasn't, one of the homeless people on Skid Row. I mean, people have asked me over and over about his performance. And to Maddie and Tay for for supporting, our rendition and remix of their song on Twitter, and their fans for being positive and voicing their appreciation for what we did with the song, all of the people that we're about to work with. I hope you're excited and ready to do something really cool. And for all the listeners today that are tuned into the show, we appreciate you being patient and listening, and I really hope that what we said resonates, and that the positivity will just flow out of this broadcast, and that we can be a part together in doing something and building something and strengthening the fabric of everything in this world that is positive. Whatever angle we're coming from, I hope that it's being strengthened, and that the swords are being sharpened, and that whatever you're endeavoring to do is being strengthened, because there's never going to run out of abundance. There's never going to be a time when there's not more to go around, and there's always more to go around.
Definitely. Thank you for that. So thank you guys for always tuning in and checking out the podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, as I mentioned before the show started, and you can grab that from Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, at our website, onlyonemediagroup.com, or Podcast Addict, which is an app you can download from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and carry us around in your pocket, right? And that goes for every single episode that I ever aired. If you like to request music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And if you tuned in at least 15 minutes or 10 minutes before the show started, you heard my elevator music. Those are artists who have sent me their music to play while you wait for the show to start. And also another cool thing is that this music plays 24/7, 7 days a week. And I tell you, I get a report every morning about how many people have called in just to listen to that music. It is amazing. So if you like your song added to that, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre-free. We do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts. And actually, you can scratch all that, because all of my opinions are always right, and it's the bottom line. This is my show. You got to deal with that. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Deanie Mussolini,
I love it.
I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word. And also another special thanks to our guest tonight, Monster Mash, who will definitely follow this guy's movement. I was super excited about this interview. Just looking at his pictures, he seemed like a rad, fun guy, and getting him so serious about the message and the energy that he's putting out into the world. So you do the same that we're going to do. Make sure you follow him on all his social media platforms. And, yeah, man, thank you for joining us tonight. We've actually stepped our game up just a bit for you guys who tune in, and also for our guests to make sure that they have the best experience here on our show. You know, Deanie just may end up on one of their songs. Who knows? I do it all, my friends. Okay, well, just remember, to be yourself and be absolutely freaking great at it. Peace, and have a great night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. Co-hosted by the Vigilantes Banditti. Call in to join the mix. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.